Tuwapigie waimbaji makofi tafadhali. Naomba tutulie, wale ambao wameingia. Naomba tuketi ili tuweze kuanza. We are ready to start, so kindly take your seats. We will be starting immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct pleasure to inform you that our speaker has arrived, and therefore allow me to ask the Group Managing Director of Cusco, Bwana George Ototo, to kindly introduce our guest.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I can see a few of us are still outside there. Probably yesterday was a heavy evening for some of them. But while you were away, we were singing patriotic songs somewhere and remembering Fimbo ya Nyayo, Tushangilie Kenya nchi yetu, and we were literally dancing. How many of you ever participated in Muungano Choir, the mass choir? Wangapi? Aha, I can see very few. But those who did that actually had also what we call Maziwa ya Nyayo. Now, today we have our last keynote speaker, and also our premium sponsor. And that is Dr. James Mwangi, CBS Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Equity Group. You see, for me, when I say my name is Jojo Toto, MBS, IQ'd, my credentials are over. That's less than 30 seconds. So I would wish to seek your undivided attention on the credentials of our next speaker, and you will have to allow me, and you must make sure that you pay attention, because everybody has got a dream, and I would wish that at one point in time, you also reach such accolades or achieve such accolades. Dr. James Mwangi holds 6 honorary doctorate degrees in recognition of his positive impact on the Kenyan society. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree and is a certified public accountant, been awarded thrice with the National Presidential Awards, the first class honor, the first class Chief of the Order of the Burning Spear, CBS, the Moran of the Burning Spear, MBS, that is the only place we share with him, and Head of State Commendation, HSC. On the global front, he has won several awards, including the G8 Global Vision Award in 2007. He was named among the top 50 emerging market business leaders and the 20 most influential people in Africa in 2011. The World Entrepreneur of the Year by Ernst & Young in 2012, the Forbes Africa Person of the Year in 2012, and was recently named in the Bloomberg 50 list of people who defined 2019 globally. He is an honoree of the 2020 Oslo Business for Peace Award. I am sure you have never met Nobel Prize winners or any Nobel Peace Awardee. Today you have one in the room. Also described as the Nobel Prize for Business. I am sure you've never met such. You only heard of Wangari Maathai and maybe met on View Sasa. Today we have Daktari here. On the regional front, James was also recognized at the Africa Investor Award, CEO of the Year in 2009 and 2015, Innovation Leader of the Year in 2012, African Business Leader of the Year in 2013, and African Banker of the Year in 2010, 2011, and 2017 at the African Banker Awards. He was also named the Banker of the Year during the Bank Africa East Africa Awards in 2017 and 2018, and named African CEO of the Year by the African Business Leadership 2020 Awards. Locally, he has received the Think Business CEO of the Year award for the last 4 years. James has served on board and advisory roles at the Global Advisory Council for Visa Incorporation, the Clinton Global Initiative, the G8 New Alliance for Food Security and Nutrition, US President Barack Obama's Initiative for Global Development, the G20 Advisory Board of Agriculture and Initiative for Global Development, and the Global Agenda Council on a New Economic Thinking of the World Economic Forum from 2003 to 2007. He has also served as the founding chair of Kenya's Vision 2030 from inception in 2007 to 2019. He currently serves on several international bodies as an advisor and was appointed to the Nairobi Advisory Board of Columbia Global Centers. He's a member of the Continent-Wide Pact Initiative, a board member of the Economic Advisory Board of the International Finance Corporation, IFC, the MasterCard Advisory Board, the Africa Leadership Academy in South Africa, the Global Alliance for Food Security and Nutrition. He's also a guest lecturer at Stanford University, Columbia, Massachusetts University, Harvard, and Lagos Business School, where Equity Bank business model is a case study. Locally, he is the Chancellor of Meru University College of Science and Technology and the Chairman of the Health Committee of Kenya COVID-19 Board. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the kind of speaker that we have in the House. I would request that we stand and give a very hearty applause as we welcome Dr. James Mwangi to speak to us. Karibu Daktari.
Thank you very much, George Otolo, CEO Cusco. Thank you for having me. Chairman, Cusco, George Mwangi, board members, our CEOs and MDs. It's really an honor and a privilege for me to be with you this mid-morning. I want to thank George and George Senior, the chairman. They came to my office and said, James, we have come to check on a lost Sacco. I couldn't understand a lost Sacco. And truly, they reminded me I call the customers of Equity's members, and they asked me whether there is any other bank that calls its customers members. And truly I agreed with them. We need to consider whether we are the lost Sacco that I was looking for. And so today I came to give answers to what he pushed to me together with the chairman. And over the last 1 week also I've been really thinking, and I really can confirm there is strong linkages between Equity and the Sacco movement. And hopefully, as CEOs, you could also allow me to apply for membership to Cusco today, because he has made me to realize, and that's, after analysis, I realized we are not the last, we are not the lost Sacco, but we may be the runaway Sacco. So I'll take a few slides to respond and to answer George, and then we can find a way forward. But I'm also very excited to see my former colleague, Daniel. How are you? That was a man who trained me. So George, I think there is a lot of connection than maybe we thought. Once again, really it's a privilege Let me take a couple of 2-3 slides just to recognize the similarity I saw when I really thought about what George challenged me about, that I was the rusty Sacco, and why I'm telling him I'm the runaway Sacco. And then we can find a middle ground. I'm willing to come back home. I am willing to be part of family, because once a family member, always a family member. You never run away from your family. So our starting and our beginnings, those who may not be familiar with, were informed by beliefs and ethos of the members. We wanted to be there for the members. We wanted to transform the lives of the members. We wanted members to have dignity, and we wanted to expand opportunities for the members. That is the essence of equity. So, George, that made me tick. We are a Sacco, because it's only Saccos that focus on the lives of their people, helping them to live better and to seek opportunities. Then I looked at more what we advocate, what the vision is, and I realized again it is the prosperity of the people, both socially and economically. And that's why they are members. It is the social aspect is because and supported by the membership. But as you can see, the only difference is we dreamt big. Instead of, we never restrained the word member to the present one, we extended members across the African continent. And that is why we became a runaway Sacco. That's how I could then link. But when you come to what we do on a day-to-day basis, we do nothing different from what the financial Saccos, particularly the deposit-taking Saccos, do. It's financial services. The only emphasis is whatever we do, it must be of relevance to the members. It must empower the members. But if you look at who the members are, they are consumers like yourselves. It's the individuals. But we recognized individuals tend to be ambitious and have business interests, whether you call them hustles, and we said we'll also pay attention, and that is the only difference that expanded equity and allowed it to run away. With, yes, if it's a salaried person, we'll focus on the salary, but if he starts a hustle, then we'll start looking at the hustle and its cash flow and led to the hustle independent of the member. And that is what really created equity as we know it today. But the essence, it's all about trust. Again, if you look, it is really livelihoods, listening to each other, caring and showing empathy, and founded on values. So it's more of a people-centric approach, and that is what Saccos are all about. It's people-oriented, it's people-centric. And so we then looked at our journey and then realized the biggest differentiation, and I'm not suggesting you become a runaway, but I'm explaining why we became a runaway Sacco, is that we, by looking at what people were doing, we followed them through and we became inclusive. All segments, whether they are in the hustle, that is the business side, or they're at the personal side, it didn't matter. They never leave equity. They graduate within equity, and we provide the products that that is what's powered the runaway. And maybe those are two maybe big lessons that I thought I would share with you about growing the institutions that you lead. Thinking big, we thought Africa, and then think inclusive and empower the members to realize their dreams. Power their dreams. That's what equity did. Half of the pyramid, as you can see, it's on individual, and the other side is the dreams that the individuals would have. Then we said, We know we are a financial service provider, but financial services are not equal to banking or Sacco services. You can provide insurance, you can provide investment solutions. So we became a house, a one-stop house for financial services, irrespective of what you are looking for. That gave us the capability to grow because of the menu we were offering, a very rich menu, which I believe SACCOs can extend the menu. George, I'm not trying to preach away from your gospel, but it's a throwing out ideas for thinking. Why should we be allowing our members to go and look for what we could offer? That's the concept. And then we moved on and said, what about infrastructure? If we look at infrastructure, Equity refused to restrict itself to own the infrastructure. 98% of the services are delivered on third-party infrastructures. So we refused to deploy our capital just building infrastructure. We said what the members need is services. Where they get the services from doesn't really matter. So 98% of all our members' transactions are done on third-party infrastructure. And I'm sure you know we own or use 68% of all agencies in Kenya. We control 75% of all banking merchants in Kenya. This was informed by the need to share prosperity. And those who know us very well, they know we partner with our customers that other than Kereaine and Kagare branches, the two first original branches for us to build, we don't own any other branch. The branches are owned by our members. We finance our members. They build the branch to our specification. We enter into an agreement, and forever they have a pension for life, and we have a premise for life, and our capital is not tied. Shared prosperity. Those in Nairobi must know Equity Center. The only thing we own in that center is the name. We don't own it. We asked for an investor. Let's share prosperity. House us. You are guaranteed rent, and we are guaranteed space and occupancy. That radical thinking, not to control head to head. Why I say you shouldn't control head to head? Is because capital is the most expensive form of funding. Those in finance know the minimum cost, the minimum pricing of capital in Kenya is between 20 and 24. But you can get a loan at 13% in equity, and in Saccos you can get 1% per month, which is 12. So why would you be using money that cost you 24%? So those are some of the issues that, and that explains to you why that thinking frees you. And you can do too many things because you don't need your own money. You allow others to use their money to build everything for you, and you share part of what you want. That is what caused Equity to run away. And maybe you could consider whether you could be willing to use others people's money. From where I come from, in my community, You only get rich if you are able to use others people's money. Ado matogagio ne indo ciene. That's how we say it in my mother tongue. And I had literally translated. So that, what am I saying? Free yourself. Free yourself from thinking there is only one way of doing things. So because of those principles, what was our journey? As you can see, we were smaller than you, and we were performing poorly than you 25 years ago. This is our history. From the date we were registered in 84, our first audited accounts are in 86. Our deposits were only 24 million. 10 years later, the deposits were still 30. Is there a Sacco here with that a million? You can see it's only equity alone that was in that category. That's how tiny we were. And look at the losses we were making. Our total loan as a Sacco was only 12 million. I'm sure your mortgage is more than the total loan book of equity 25 years ago. Just look at the humble beginnings. It doesn't matter where you are beginning. That is not really important. It's where you end. Equity had this humble beginning, but had a runaway success to become what it is today. And you can see the blood. There is no Sacco that has this kind of blood. And you can see who our customers were, the tea farmers of Kagema. These are the 4 first branches, one in Morarandia, Kagema, Kereaine, and those are the only branches we had. We were a rural Sacco. We had no branch in Nairobi for 10 years. A rural Sacco. And we were not a bank, we were a mutual fund under the Building Societies Act. The mutual fund is very similar. It's only the registration by that time, the act we adopted. And if you look, the central bank was not impressed with our performance and condemned us for closure. And the threat of being closed woke us up. Sometimes you have to see death before your eyes for you to value life. All the staff were to lose their jobs. The shareholders were to lose everything they had. The landlords were to lose their tenants. And the customers were to lose their deposits. That was the situation of equity, famously said, technically insolvent. You can come out of any situation. You might be struggling in one way or another, but that is not a permanent state. It's just a state of the moment. And maybe as we'll see sooner or later, that the past cannot necessarily define the future, or the future is not a continuation of the past. You don't need to allow your future. You can think, you can dream afresh despite the bed on which you are dreaming. Those are two different things. The bed and the dream are different. So don't say you are not dreaming because the bed is not comfortable. It doesn't need to be comfortable. And that is really the freedom we can give ourselves. The freedom to think differently, the freedom to free ourselves. I don't think a Sacco, there will be a Sacco with 5% liquidity. Absolutely no. I know for sure. I can't believe of a Sacco in this room that had NPLs of 54%. And all the capital is eroded by losses. It can't be worse than this. But that was the history of equity. But let's see equity today. Equity, this is why I called it the runaway success. From 2,000 customers in 1990, we now, as at December, had 16.1 million customers. You can see And the question is, what can we do to accelerate? So George, we are not a lost Sacco, we are an away Sacco. We learn away, but we remain the Sacco. Once an ego, always an ego. Once a Sacco, always a Sacco. So there's nothing I can hide, I can't run away from who I am. So that's the number of customers we have. You can see their deposits is nearly 1 trillion shillings, 960 billion Kenya shillings, just in one Sacco. Now, and for me, I think the lesson I just wanted to share, look at Equity 2019. End of 2019 is when COVID struck. We were 480 billion. 2021, 2 years later, 2 years of COVID, the deposit base has doubled to 960 billion. I don't want to set an exam. How can that happen? Even ourselves, we had to invite 4 professors from Harvard to come and explain to us why we are experiencing runaway growth during a COVID era. Because we thought somebody was pumping us up with the deposit to then withdraw them, and we failed. And we realized it was not true. It was still the members. And the answer they told us is that when COVID struck, you acted with empathy to your members. Those who know, we gave our members a rescheduled plan of up to 3 years. Depending on how you are affected, if you are Kenya Airways, we gave you 3 years and said, we know in 3 years you will not have fully recovered. Have 3 years to start with. If you are a hotel like this, we gave you 3 years. If you are a restaurant, we gave you a year. If you are a school, private school, we gave you 1.5 years and said, don't pay us. Maintain your school, maintain your staff. I said, people were shocked and pleasantly shocked. So they decided to give us a shock, a pleasant shock. And this week is when it sank to me. When, and I'm sure most of you read the article, saying the number of accounts in the banking industry shrunk by 6 million over the COVID period. What I realized is people consolidated their banking to Equity. Kenyans are multi-bank. How many has accounts in 2 Saccos or in 2 financial service providers? More than 2. All of you. Now, it's only you who didn't consolidate. Everybody else consolidated their accounts in Equity. Because we showed empathy. What am I saying? I think you can grow depending on how you treat your members. If you show empathy, and empathy is understanding, putting yourself in your members' shoes. In such circumstances, Equity put itself in the shoes of its members and realized businesses had been closed, they had been told to stay at home, and we asked, it is business that pay. If business is closed, how will they pay? Let's give them a holiday of repayment. And they were shocked. Then we defied the central bank. Central bank said, you can only give for 3 months. We said this is not a regulatory issue. This is a business issue. We will make a business decision. This is the call of the board, not of the central bank. So we gave the 3, we defied and gave 3 years. So all the other banks gave 3 months. After 3 months, they called their account. Understanding the circumstance. The second one, Equity gave 1.7 billion shillings out of its profits to protect the members. And the way to protect the members was 1.1 billion was to ensure doctors were protected. That is the equity PPEs. We adopted 54 government referral hospitals, all the county hospitals, and 7 national referral hospitals, Kenyatta, KU, Madari, and all the other top Moi referral and teaching university hospital. We put those and said, to the exclusion of the government, we'll supply them with the PPEs for 3 years so that the doctors are safe and will be bold to take care of all Kenyans. People didn't lose sight of that. The third one we did is we have 22,000 wings to fly and Elimu scholars in secondary schools as we speak. And we asked, these orphans, 87% of these kids are orphans. We said, who will look after them? We decided each child, the girls will be given 4,000 allowance per month as long as COVID stays. And the boys would give them 3,500. It costed us 300 million. But the good thing, the 22,000 kids, only 8 kids never went back to school after 9 months of COVID. We had saved those kids. God is not debtor, Bishop. God is not debtor. And members will show gratitude. You show them empathy, they pay back with gratitude. And then to keep these kids in school proper, we gave each of them a solar panel, a small radio so that they can listen to Kenya Broadcasting Corporation classes, a phone to call their teacher, and a charger to ensure they don't have to stroll from their homes. Amazingly, we saw God's grace. Last year, the best we have ever had is 92% of wings to fly kids proceeding from secondary to university. Last year, after 9 months of being out, 96% of all the wings to fly kids graduated from secondary and transited to university. So what am I saying? I think what our members are looking for is to be understood. Is their circumstances to matter? When you are making decisions, weigh their situation and their circumstances, and you'll develop a trusted relationship. Harvard concluded that by its behavior, equity created trust capital that was bigger than its funding, and it's trust that we were able to monetize. It's the trust that created this doubling of a bank. Let's continue. Look at loans. Yes, those who know 2016, interest capping happened. You all know. We were told we couldn't lend beyond 13. But 13 was still higher than your rate of 12, 1 per month. So it was booming business for you. But look at what the bank struggled, because we had given depositors 9%, 10% in deposit. Now you have given 10% and you are being told to give at 13. That adjustment costed a lot of pain. But look at equity. When COVID came, once again it opened the taps and said, if our objective is to save lives, this is the time to save lives. If our objective and purpose is to give dignity, this is the time to uphold the dignity of our people. Let's ensure none of them comes and is turned back because it's COVID. Dreams remain with COVID or without COVID. COVID or without COVID. So you never lose the purpose of your members because of circumstances. Your purpose must be the true north. It must be your compass. Irrespective of what happens, you must remain focused to the true north. And the true north is meeting the objectives of your members. And you meet them, the members will remain very loyal. So what happened then? Look at volume of loans. It's not just numbers. Our loans again doubled from 366 billion to 600 billion during COVID. We didn't care whether people would ever pay. If people perish, will equity stay? No, it will go with the people, and in heaven we shall continue to sing with them. Even Equity Bishop would like to sing. Where the members are is where Equity want to be. You know, because it's a creation of the members. So never think of separation. You know, self-preservation is the lowest level of thinking, where you get frightened and only think about yourself, and you forget the reason you existed. It was for the members. And you want to protect yourself, you want to preserve yourself. And then you lose connection with the members. And then the trust that you enjoy with the members is destroyed. So you can see a very different kind of thinking. But it's not different. It's sticking to the purpose of equity, changing lives, giving dignity, and expanding opportunities of the members. Never lose track for the reason you exist, because you cease to exist once you stop facing the true north. We only live because of essence, because of purpose. So as soon as the purpose, you frustrate the purpose, then death naturally starts happening. And that's why you see organization really declining. Now, this is the most important aspect. The Kenyan economy shrank by $10 billion. The Kenyan economy was $100 billion in 2019. To date, the Kenya economy is $90 billion. It have lost $10 billion. But look at what equity happened in those 2 years. Its total assets grew, and equity is 1.3 trillion. Equity has become 14% of the Kenyan economy alone. Now, this has happened during a COVID period. And as I said, it's because of how we reacted to Kenyans, it's how we reacted to the members, it's the decisions we made. The emphasis here is SACCOs remain aligned to your members' aspirations. Never lose your vision and mission, irrespective of the circumstances. Because once the essence of your organization ceases to exist, then the organization ceases. You could see, and this I will show you a slide later, this is a good opportunity. Now you look at shareholders first, but look at the shareholders. Despite all this great success, the shareholders said, for 2 years, we shall not take dividend. We will recapitalize our retained earnings to ensure we protect the customers. Equity never took dividend for 2 years. What happened? Its capital increased from 111 billion to 173 billion, almost another 60 billion. Now, amazingly, that became the capital to fund the new growth. So they have got it, they have doubled without asking the shareholders for more capital. They were seeking to protect the members because they have given them a holiday for loan repayment, but God is not debtor, He paid them in an amazing, amazing way. It's like buying another bank bigger than equity without raising capital. Now, if you look at the last slide, maybe, this might be the real explanation of the runaway equity. I've tried to put that graph on the basis of 5 years. But look at the numbers. Equity grows 10 times every 5 years. Look at funding, 30 million to 300 million. 300 million to 1.6 billion. 1.6 billion to 16 billion. 16 billion to 160 billion. And then it is rolled down. Interest capping 2016, it grew 2 times, from 160 to 337, and again it increased pace, and from 300 it went to 1 trillion. Look at assets, 24 to 200, 200 to 2 billion, 2 billion to 20 billion, 20 billion to 200 billion, then 500 billion, and then 1.3 trillion. Now, that is when you are consistent. When you are consistent in behavior, never waver, never change, the customers are also consistent in their behavior, or the members will be consistent in their behavior. And that is how you understand the growth. You stop doing the right things that generate growth, the growth also disappears. It also stop coming. So consistency in whatever you do is very important. It can't be a situation that you see me now, tomorrow you can't see me. See me now, now you don't see me. You have to be seen all the time. The member is looking for a consistent, reliable, dependable relationship. And that is what Equity has excelled in. And that is what has created the runaway equity. This is the most interesting. Thinking business is, we might all know, is the Kenya banking industry awards. We received 24 awards for the entire banking industry. But look at what Equity did 2021. Out of 24 awards, it took 19, and then left the other 40 banks to share 5. You have to be consistent in every respect. Consistent in every respect. Daniel Mulwa, thank you very much for training me how to do. He used to be our HR director, if you didn't know. So you are very lucky. And he can repeat this same story. And now, a few awards. Sometimes it's not what you think about yourself. It's very important for you to think highly about yourself. 7, we won the Global Vision Award. We were named, or the caption was initiators of the concept of the future that will shape the world economy. We didn't know what it meant. Looking back today, we are the innovators of agency banking, mobile banking, and this is what is shaping the global economy. These professors could analyze, Nobel laureates could, but we didn't understand. But we had taken a path that was leading us there. But we couldn't see where we were headed to. But we knew we had faith in where we would go without knowing where we shall head. Today, you look at Equity, and we'll see one or two. Forbes, Equity was posted Forbes African Person of the Year 2012. It was voted the same year, Ernst & Young World Entrepreneur of the Year Award. We were named among the top 50 world business leaders. Continue. Global rating, Bloomberg named Equity among the top 50 in the world. Last year, the Business for Peace Nobel Laureate Award, 2020. And this year, I'm glad it was rated the 5th most powerful finance brand on earth. And number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, and number 5 won the same score of AAA brand. There are only 5 AAA global brands in finance, and Equity was among them. It is not where you start. It's not your circumstances. It's your vision, it's your dream, and where you head. This is where we have headed, but we haven't headed. We are seeking next year to be number 1. Global financial brand. What does this message say? that contrary sometimes to our thinking, that nothing good can come out of Africa. Africa can be as good as they come. It can be as good as they come. We should never underestimate, either by lowering our esteem and pride, what we are capable of doing. And as a generation, we can change the course of Africa so that our children don't go through what we have gone through as a generation. I know we have improved it more than our parents, but we are still very far. So we can hasten our steps. And I'm glad Bishop was talking about teamwork. We can create more dynamics of working together. The multiplier effect of teamwork is higher than their aggregate of individual scores or individual efforts. And I'm glad that at Sacco's 800 of you. Now, look at it from a technically insolvent organization. As at December last year, because I only like painting audited accounts, Equity had become bigger than all the international banks and bigger than all the government banks. The Sacco had ran away, but remained true to its members. I see the potential of you growing. You make the members grow, you are the aggregator, so you grow to the total summation of your members. Now, it is a good opportunity. If you are thinking of investment in shares, now you know which bank you can invest in, which grows 10 times every 5 years. If Eliud Kipchoge is in the race, why would you bet on any other athlete? Board members, why would you be banking elsewhere if you have a choice of banking with the fifth best rated bank on earth? Why? Give yourself the freedom of enjoying the good things of life. You just need to give yourself freedom to bet on Kipchoge. If the cheetah is on a 100-meter sprint, why bet on an elephant? And you lose. Bishop, we don't bet to lose. We bet to win. I'll close with, is there an opportunity for your sibling, sister, Equity, big brother Sacco, big sister Sacco collaborating with you? As I said, we don't own any infrastructure. We lease infrastructure from others. If we look at our infrastructure, we are no longer on the brick and mortar, the fixed channels. The last three on your left, I bet. All ours are digital channels. These are digital highways. Whether you call Equitel, whether it's up, whether it's is a CEO, we can have an interface with all the circles, and we use this runway without you building a road. For those who drove to Mombasa, you didn't build a road. You used the road that was existing. This road exists. Why are you building another road? Let's use this infrastructure together. We have ATMs, we have internet, we have mobile, and the rest, and we share the cost. The cost is already sunk, so it would be total revenue for everybody. And that my thinking is that you don't have really to do the ATMs the way we did it. You don't have to build your merchants. You don't have to rebuild your agency. We just need an interface between us all as Saccos, and the infrastructure becomes available for everybody. When you are in Mombasa, you don't say, but our Sacco is in Kakamega. The ATMs, the agents, you see branded here, and we can rebrand them.
from equity agents to Sacco agents. We are a Sacco. And we use them all together. And the only thing we need to do is to buy just a switch. And then equity, because of its power, equity, because of its power, will protect the switch. The biggest problem Kenya is going through is cybercrime. Those who know the Muoroto boys are giving everybody a headache. Equity is able to protect the entire Sacco because of the firewalls of our servers. So there is an opportunity there. We protect ourselves. Not everybody, can you imagine? Each of us here is looking for an army to protect him or herself from the cyber attacks and cost accounting. So we can be very efficient. But one slide back, at a personal level, if you want to invest, the shares to invest in Nairobi Stock Exchange is equity stock. If you want to grow, we have seen it, it's tenfold every 5 years. That's how it's generating wealth. The third one, now this is now for the SACCOs themselves. This is the balance sheet of equity, 1.3 trillion. But look at the loan book, less than 600 billion. 700 billion, as you can see it there, is in cash and government securities. Debt that is borrowed by Kenya government, 14% of it owes it to equity. Why don't we take that money to the members? And we are willing to give you, if you are reading 3 times, we'll add you money to read 4 times. And we don't need any other security other than an assignment of the loans you have given out using our money. Just sign a paper. Just think about it. Because why should I be lending government 400 billion Kenya shillings if I can give it to you to lend to members from my village? Members of the teaching circles that teach my children. And teachers of the school, I'm the chairman of the board. So I've been thinking about myself. Government never develops a country. It's the private sector that develops the country. So that money, chairman, CEO, 400 billion is available if we can find a way of you taking it. You are very good at lending. Your NPLs are better than the banking industry. So me, I have no fear, I have no concern. The other one we need to collaborate is international money transfer. The same switch that we build to enable us to allow us to use the same platform for serving our members, we connect you to international money transfer companies. We control 76% of all diaspora remittances coming to Kenya. But they are not all ours. Most of them are members of the SACCOs. We can get the money to come straight to the members' accounts if it have been sent by their children from abroad. The next one of collaboration, we have said we can share investments, we can borrow from each other, we can use the online platforms together, we can share the agency platform together, and we can have a common switch to integrate us. We can do clearing. We can clear the checks and all the instruments for you. And we can use the first accounts management as equity accounts. But where would we support each other at the personal level? We now have 54 equity AFIA clinics. I'm sure you know, most of you are helping us to select the Wings to Fly kids. We have 22,000 at the moment in secondary schools, but we have 20,000 who are in university. Of those who went to university, 1,800 are doing or have done medicine. And we also decided, why is the country having problems of health? We decided to roll out Equity Afya franchise last year. And we give each child a clinic in the place of their choice. We now have a clinic in Lodwar, Garissa, Marsabit, Kakuma, refugee camp, and so far we have 54 clinics. The quality of health, and I want to invite you, just visit an Equity Afya clinic, walking, is unparalleled. Nairobi Hospital, Aga Khan Hospital says their biggest competitor now in health is Equity Afya. But the thing is, when you go to Nairobi Hospital or Aga Khan, at the end of the day, consultation to doctor, tests, you know the test we go through, medication, it will cost you between 6,000 and 10,000 if you are lucky. The maximum I guarantee you in an Equity Afya for consultation, for lab test, for the drugs that you need will not exceed 2,500. Because it's shared prosperity. The question is, can the Sacco members enjoy this benefit? The clinics are spread all over. By end of this year, we hope to have 250 Equity Afya clinics. In 5 years, we believe there will be 1,000. The good thing about Equity Afya, it's one franchise. If you are in Kisumu, if you walk into a clinic, that doctor will have the data of the last time you were treated in an Equity Afya clinic in Mombasa. So you move to the nearest one. When there is an accident, you are moved to the nearest one. Wherever you are, that is your doctor. Because the record is, it's a common platform. And kids who forever will be grateful because majority of them were orphans and were given a chance. They want to give back and bring utu into health, bring humanness in health. Health is not about money, it's about service. And we can see how, you can see dramatic growth. Yeah, so we can share Equity Afya. The next thing we can share is the Equity Leadership Program. The children of your members normally will be the best boy or the best girl in each of the regions where we have a branch. Can you be the people who bring the children to us for the global scholarship programs? Make sure you fight for the children of your members. And the same with Wings to Fly. You know the orphans that you have really struggled to educate because either the members have passed on, you are on the ground. Can we partner so that we select the children together, the way we select the children with the financial institutions? Can we use the benefits of these donors to do common projects? The foundation does this. Can we co-create programs and we seek the funding ourselves? Whether it's training your members, financial literacy, entrepreneurship training, whatever it is, can we do it together? Because it's the same Kenyan. It's the same Kenyan. So we really need not, Garuya, I can see you seem to be very excited. So let's co-create. And the last one is to say I'm very grateful for this opportunity. For me, I've spoken. If we fail,
Thank you so much, Dr. I think by the level of attention that we have received from the audience means that most of these issues have sunk. Now, 2 or 3 issues to carry home. Never lose your vision and mission, regardless of the circumstances. It's something worth taking home. The other one is that be consistent in behavior or deploying the resources or the service to the members. For that will make them trust you. That we've also picked. And also ensure availability of your services to your members or the customers. Simply put, the best strategy is a satisfied customer. That's true. Now, a few discussions here, and then we will expect the Secretariat to give out some roving microphones for 1 or 2, 3 reactions or questions that you would wish Dr. Lee to respond to. So, Dr. Lee, the year is 2003, and there's this famous advert, Mimi ni member, and you're a bank. What prompted you into this?
Thank you very much. I'm told by the Kenya Marketing Association, it remains the most powerful marketing campaign ever in Kenya. And essentially, we were amplifying what we had heard from the members. Nobody in Equity call themselves customers. Nobody in Equity says they have an account. And nobody says when I opened the account. They say when I joined, because they are joining a movement of socio-economic. It's because they are a member, and members have a membership number. They don't have an account. So we realized member. We decided to honor them and to formally recognize it and say with pride. Remember, it was adding, irrespective of your tribe, irrespective of your economic activities, irrespective of your economic status in the country or social study,